Hello everybody, BBaller13SN here, and we're going to continue working on our mini games in Roblox Studio. So far what we have is the player spawns into the games, and at one of these spawn points that you guys can see right down here, I will select their group here. So we've got a bunch of spawn points laid throughout our map. Granted, it's not a good map, and the spawn points are far too close together with nothing in between them. But that is more up to the map designer to fix rather than the designer of the game scripting side, which is what we are more worried about, is the scripting of the game itself. When you get into the development of building and such, things get a little bit different, but we are going to go into those details later on. But for today, at least, we're just going to continue with the scripting side of things. So let's go to our server script storage, and in here we will go to, not default minigame, yeah, minigame control script. There we go. Alright, so here's how we have this set up. What we're doing is we're starting a game. It's a function to start a game, and we wait 1 second after we begin the game start. Then if game.players get children, meaning if there's, actually, see this pound symbol or this hashtag or this number symbol here? This means the length. I know I've gone over this before, but this here, what's selected right now, that is an array or a list, a table in Lua. It's typically called a table of all the players in the game.players kind of folder directory. It's technically called a service though. So this just means the number, the count of items in this table or on this table. So it's the number of players in the game. As long as that's greater than 0, then okay, continue on. Minigame equals select minigame, and that's actually what we're going to work on today. Is we're going to work on the select minigame. Currently it just returns hello world. There is actually no hello world minigame, but it's just to test further on quickly. M equals instance.new message workspace. M.text equals minigame. Minigame has been chosen. Get ready. Wait 10 seconds, and then it destroys the message. The messages, by the way, are just, they cover the entire screen. The screen gets slightly grayed out, and then in the center there's white text, I believe with a black outline around it. And then what we do right now is we continue on and we just run our default minigame, but we're going to change that today as well to actually do this line, which will fire the event for whatever minigame is actually chosen. So we'll get started on that. We'll take that out. Oh, there we go. And now what we're going to do, there's a lot of ways you could go about doing this. And what we're doing is we're making a list of all the minigames in the game itself. However, since I said there are a lot of ways you could do this, you could start out and you could run the minigame you can make string values listed in, say, the server storage. You could just make one string value and have them all separated by commas, but I prefer just making a list directly in the script for several reasons. One, hackers, what they typically do when a hacker enters your game and starts hacking, they'll change the values that are in the workspace or in the Explorer window. But if it's directly in the script, it's much harder for them to change it without completely restarting the script, and sometimes they know that is even more detrimental to them, and it will actually hurt them more than it will help them. And a lot of hackers, they hack or exploit in order to better their chances at winning. Granted, there are those hackers that just like to go in and troll and destroy your game, and there's not much you can do to prevent that. However, it is possible to prevent hackers by simply, or not prevent hackers, sorry, there's really no way to prevent hackers unless you're Roblox itself, but there are ways to make it harder for them to help themselves. And doing that a lot of times means just put your values directly in the scripts if they don't have to be seen anywhere else. It's a lot easier that way. So we're going to make a list of all the minigames, and I'm going to put local, just make it a little bit more obvious. Local isn't necessarily useful in Lua for Roblox, however it can be when you want it to stay in your scope, and I'm just going to put local for the simple fact that it makes the script look more complete. So local minigame list, and we'll make that a table by putting curly brackets here, and break that down. Alright, now we're going to start, and we're going to have default default minigame. Good? Space it out, actually. Yeah. Alright. And select minigame. We'll now do return minigame list math.random 0 and count of minigame list. Again, when you put that pound symbol, or as it looks right now, hashtag minigame list, when you put that pound symbol, it takes the list, or the table, sorry, it's technically a table, and it'll take that table and it'll give you how many items are on or in that table as an actual integer, a number. So it's not going to give you the minigame list with a hashtag in front of it. No, it's giving you the number of items in there. So by doing this right now, it should always, basically, and actually we need one, sorry, lists start. Okay, let's go over this line entirely. So you guys should know what return means. Return means we're going to get out of this function, but we're going to make the function sort of act like a variable, because it actually has a value now that another function or another part of the script could use and alter, or use to alter something else and continue on with using that value. Minigame list is of course our table up here, and when we put square brackets right after a list name, it tells it, okay, we want to get a particular value out of this table, and then you just put the integer, the int 1 2 3 4, continue on, there's no decimals, and it'll continue on, and it'll return the item at that index. I'm sorry about that. And what it's going to do when it returns that index to you is, or when it returns the value to you, is it's going to act again like a variable itself rather than something in the table. And the thing about tables is they start, the first index is 1, and then it carries on for however many items are in the list. So 1 is the smallest value we can have, because math.random, it's a built-in function in Lua. You just put these parentheses here, as we've already done, and then you feed it two arguments. Arguments, by the way, are fed in to parameters. An argument is something you put in when you're calling a function, and a parameter is something you put in when you're declaring a function. So this is declaring a function, and this is calling a function. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. 1 is the smallest value that can possibly be in a table, and then we're going with the largest value that could be in the specific table, which is the number of items in the table itself. And now, once we return that minigame, right here like I said, it can act as a variable, a value. We're taking that minigame list, and we're returning the item in that table that is selected randomly. Down here, we're taking that variable afterwards, and we're saying, alright, awesome, we'll take this and we'll run with it. We'll take this value and we are good to go after that, because now we have the string of the minigame. So then we make a message, put it in the workspace so that everybody sees it. We then take the text and we change it to have the minigame's name, which should be what's in your table. It has been chosen, get ready. And we're going to add another exclamation mark just for that flair there. Wait 10 seconds and then destroy the message, meaning hide the message, get rid of it, we don't want it anymore. Then game.workspace, and we're actually going to change this to server storage, not workspace anymore, because workspace is now supposed to be meant only for bricks and things people see. Server storage is supposed to be for practically everything else. Minigame, that's the name of the minigame again. And then we concatenate a space and start event. So this will be a bindable event, which I think I've gone over before slightly. We're going to go over them more today maybe, or actually tomorrow, or whenever I release the next episode. And then we fire that event. We don't actually feed anything into the event, it's supposed to take everything for itself. Then we end the if statement and end the function. And right now all we're doing is we're only calling that function once, and then once we get our players set up, that's when we're starting the function. We're actually going to change that. We're going to change that to a loop, so that, and we're actually going to do that right now. Why not, right? While true do. And since this function has a wait in it already, actually we'll take that wait out as well, and we'll just put it directly into this loop. And it's going to start a game every time. But here's the thing. We're going to make an if statement actually right here. If game, and we'll actually make a variable. Make another variable up here. Local can loop equals game dot workspace. Nope, not workspace. Game dot server storage again. Server storage dot and we'll actually change that to minigame running dot minigame running. There we go, exact same thing up there. And we'll create this value in a second. It'll be a bool value in the server storage. So if minigame running dot value, and we'll actually want not. So if there's not a minigame running, then okay, you can start a game. If there is a minigame running, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait. And we'll just keep looping through this until the minigame's over. So now in server storage, we're going to create two new items. We're going to create a bool value first. So bool value, select it, and we're going to rename it minigame running. Its default value should be false because there is not a minigame running. Oh, one more thing, go to the minigame control script. We want to make sure minigames need at least 2 people. You can't just have one person competing against nobody. So in this game, we're going to make sure that the count of the players in the game is greater than 1, meaning it has to be at least 2 people. It can be more than 2 people, but it has to be at least 2 people. Alright, so there we go, we've got our bool value. Now we also needed a bindable event, if you remember, because right here it's game.server storage takes the minigame's name and then start event, and then it fires that event. So we need to add a bindable event down here. So bindable event, name it default minigame start event. There we go. And now it's going to be called, and if we go into this default minigame script here, what we'll do is game.server storage default. Oops, actually, since it has spaces, we have to use brackets and use a string as an index. Default minigame start event. There we go. Event. When you catch a bindable event and you handle it, you actually take its event property, and I believe all you do from there, we're going to actually go to help object browser just to double check. I'm always second guessing myself on this, but yeah, okay. That's an event. When its event is fired, it fires this event. So event connect function, and it doesn't take any parameters, so that's all we need. And then we'll tab this all over to make it more organized. Now it's going to work. It's going to spawn players in the map when we need it to. So we're going to press F7 and then again Alt F7, start a player. It's not going to run through the game yet. We actually will need 2 players, so we will start 2 of them right now. Should be running 2 players, hopefully. I think I only saw 1 start up though. Alright, yeah, we gotta start another player here. And there we go. So we're going to just stick with this guy. He's got 100 points, 0 wins, and player 2 is here. Default minigame has been chosen. Get ready. Wait a couple seconds, and then we should both be spawned down below. Seems there's an error. Expected. Okay. We're going to restart this game up again. Server script storage or service. Go to the minigame control script, and I actually already know the problem. It's right here. It's a function built into an object, so you don't actually use a period to call it. You have to use a colon. I'm sorry about that little mistake. We'll fix it in the main game right now, because that was in the server that we're running. So we'll change that right now while that message is popping up over here. There we go, it's changed, we're good to go. We have all our changes made in the main server as well. Default main game has been chosen, get ready. I think it said that already. Oh well. You know what else we didn't do? Here's what we didn't do. Alright, we're gonna close this server actually itself. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we didn't do. We're going to go to the minigame control script, and when we fire that event, just before we fire that event, we're going to go to minigame running value equals false, or equals true actually, because we want it to know we're running a minigame. There we go. And we're going to create a new bindable event down here, and it's actually just going to be called minigame over. And what it's going to do actually is it's going to take an array of players as its event. We'll get into that in a second. We have a new bindable event down there. In here, we're going to make, in our minigame control script, we're going to make a handler for when it's fired. So game.server_storage.minigame over.event connect function, and it's going to take winners, and it's going to take points. Okay, so points is going to be how much should be given to each person, and the winners is just an array of all the players. So for I equals 1, number winners do, winners I, and I believe, yeah, it's that leader stats dot points dot value equals, and we'll copy this because Lua doesn't exactly allow you to just add it in easily. So plus points, just like that. And now, we'll change that points awarded. There we go. And now we'll go to minigame running that value equals false. So once the minigame's over, we award the points to everybody, and minigame running is false. We're actually also going to create a message here. So local winning or winners message equals and the winners are, add a space, and down here winners message equals winners message concatenate. We're going to need a comma after each of these. I got an idea. Concatenate winners dot name, and concatenate a comma at the end of that. And then at the end of that winners loop, what we're going to do is winners message equals winners message, and I believe, if I remember correctly, and I know this is a super long episode, guys, but it's been a super long time since I last released a video, so I want to make it really, really worth it. I gotta remember this substring thing though, so 1 second as I go and check that. I know I had the video of it, but that doesn't mean I specifically remember it. Escaping, nope, I want, there we go, string manipulation. You know what, you guys can go ahead and see what I'm doing. It's not working, there we go. Alright, so we'll scroll down, and where is string.sub, maybe? Yeah, alright, string.sub, there we go. Let's copy this real quick. Alright, change that hi mom to winners message. Go to 1, and then winner string dot len, meaning length, winners message -1. So we're going all the way to the end minus that last comma there. And then add a hyphen, and then congratulations. There we go. And now last but not least, m equals, and we'll actually copy this down here. Might as well, right? And m.text equals winners message. Wait 10 seconds, destroy the message. Shift tab this over. There we go. And now F7, and we will see how this all works. Should work perfectly fine. I can't think of anything that's actually going wrong with it. So, hopefully we'll have a fun game that people can play here soon enough. Alright, the first player is started. Let's start our second player, but we're going to go into the game as our first player. There we go, we've got player 1 and player 2. Default minigame has been chosen. Get ready. Alright. Something wrong has happened. Default okay, we're going to restart this after going to server storage. Alright. There we go. So default minigame was currently disabled. That's why it never caught the event. Let's undisable that. Let's enable that. And now it should spawn us down here. It's never firing the minigame over, so we're not going to go through our loop right now. But it did spawn us down here. Good job. It worked. We'll test our minigame over thing though right now. And that will be our last thing for today. It'll probably be about a half-hour episode, but honestly I think that's definitely worth it considering how few episodes I've been having lately. Sorry about that, time just hasn't been on my side. Default minigame. Alright, and then we're going to wait 20 seconds, and then game.server storage minigame over fire, and we're going to pass in an array of all the players. So for right now we're just going to do players. We're just going to feed in players. Every player wins, and we're going to feed in, we'll give them all 50 points for now. Alright, so now we will press F7, Alt F7, Alt F7 again, and I've been getting a ton of emails and a ton of Roblox messages and a ton of comments about something, guys. I've said it, I don't even know how many times. The player added event will not fire if you're playing play solo. Make sure you start a server and then start a player in that server. Don't try play solo to test your leaderboard scripts. It will not work, okay? I think I just started that from the wrong place. Hopefully, please work still. Alright, yes, it still works, good. Alright, we've got player 1 and player 2 again. Default minigame has been chosen. Once we get down there, we just have to wait 20 seconds. And then both of us should be awarded 50 points. And we should say, yes, you won. Great job. One more thing we should do is we should probably kill every one of the players so that they get spawned back up top where they belong and their character resets and all that stuff, in case you maybe put a local script in and change how they work. Whoa. Okay, so we got awarded our 50 points. There's one thing we have to fix, but we don't really have to test it right now. We should add spaces as well. But the substring worked. The substring definitely worked perfectly. There's still some kind of problem somewhere. Let's see. What? Nope, not really a problem. It's just being crazy. Alright, we'll go into our minigame control script again. Go up here where the minigame over event is handled. We want to actually change this minigame running thing to be the very last thing that happens here. So there we go. Minigame running.value equals false. And over here, we're going to add in a space to each of these, so we can take our space out here and just be like that. There we go. We are golden. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Everything should be working fine and dandy now. We got our substring working. We got the new bindable events working. We're setting up the real layout for how this minigame thing is going to work, and we're getting really close to where we can actually create real minigames and real fun for the players. Next episode, we're probably going to go over making maps that actually work better. Maybe we'll actually start in the minigames. You guys vote below. It's probably going to be 2, 3, maybe 4 days until the next episode anyway, so you've got plenty of time to tell me. In the comments below, please vote. Do you want to watch me show you guys how to make proper maps for minigames? Or do you want to watch me make a minigame itself? Now, if I make a minigame itself, there's no guarantee I'll have to make a map for it. I might just make a simple minigame where people are spawned in and they kill each other and it's the last person alive wins. That might be what I do. I'm not exactly sure. You guys can also vote below what you would like to see as the first minigame we make. That's all completely up to you guys though. So, vote below. Do you want to see how to make a proper map for multiple minigames, not just a specific minigame map? Or do you want to see a video of me teaching you guys how to make a minigame itself, just using our basic map that we have set up right now? Vote below. And by the way, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like or the dislike button corresponding to how you felt about this video, and I will catch you guys later.